on the News Channel 5 network. This is Open Line.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Open Line. I'm so glad you're joining us tonight. Tonight we are talking about a story that is happening some 6,500 miles away, but a story that is affecting so many people right here in the mid-state. Our Kurdish community here in Middle Tennessee, and is the largest Kurdish community across the nation. So of course we're talking about the troop withdrawal out of Syria and how it's affecting people still living here. I have two wonderful gentlemen joining me tonight, Nashvillians and also members of that Kurdish community. Thank you so much for being here. Let me introduce you to them. Dara Aziz, a Kurdish advocate and also a software engineer in our community, and Tabeer Sindi, thank you for being here. You're with the Tennessee Kurdish Community Council, do a lot of advocating on that part, and the secretary for the organization as well. I want to remind you, this is Open Line. If you have questions tonight, these are the gentlemen to ask. They can fill you in the history of the Kurdish people, what's happening now, what has happened for centuries with the Kurdish people. We're going to dive into all of it tonight. We have an hour. So, of course, if you have a question, go ahead and give us a call, 615-737-PLUS. Again, thank you both for being here.
It's our pleasure.
I would love to start with both of your stories and the stories of your families and eventually how you came to Nashville. Dara, would you like to start?
Sure. I came here in 1997, and first when we came to U.S., that's when we came to Nashville, and been living here in Nashville since. Started as a dishwasher at Ruby Tuesdays in Bellevue, great place to work, and then decided that take advantage of the land of opportunity here, and went to school at Tennessee, the Nashville Tech, Nashville State Community College, and then got my associate degree and have been working as a software engineer for the last 12 years.
And your family is here?
Absolutely. I got married in 2001 and brought my family, my wife here, and have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 daughter. And everyone is happy, and we're really happy to be here.
Why did you come to the U.S.? What were you fleeing?
The story for us was that in 1996, when U.S. troops pulled out from Iraq, there was a fear that anyone that had been working with the U.S. forces could be prosecuted by Saddam Hussein. So they did us a favor and took us with them to U.S.
Because you work for the U.S. military.
Absolutely.
As a translator. As
a translator. That was after war. I was working as a translator. Beforehand, also, yes, I was working with some forces in northern Iraq. Yes.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Absolutely.
All right, Tabeer, tell me your story.
Yeah. My name is Tabeer. I've lived here for almost 24 years. I'm a father of 4 boys. You know, got married in 06. Nashville is home to us. We love it here. You know, I came here when I was 10 years old. I went to high school here, graduated from high school, Glencliff High School, I still remember, and I obtained my master's in criminal justice a couple years ago. So at the same time, I've been with Tennessee Kurdish Community Council since 2010. Basically doing activist role, but, you know, Nashville has been a great place for us, you know, and a lot of times people ask us, where do you guys come from? You know, we as Kurds, we rather say want to come from Kurdistan, you know, but unfortunately, because we're not a country yet, we're still part of Iraq, so we say we're from northern Iraq. But Nashville has been a great place to us, and our community is very active here in Nashville, and I'm happy to be part of this community.
I mentioned, and I think this will surprise people, maybe surprise all the folks who are new to Nashville, that Nashville has the largest Kurdish population in the nation. How did that come to be?
Well, Kurds have migrated to United States in 3 different phases. Kurds has been around since 1970, to be exact, 1975. After the Algerian Treaty, a lot of Kurds migrated to the United States. And then there was a big wave of Kurds migrated through Turkey camps and then to the United States after the Gulf War, Desert Storm. So typically if you move from one place to another, you know, you prefer to go somewhere that you already know someone there. So that has been the trend basically. And then Nashville, you know, provided jobs, you know, welfare for a lot of people, especially for the first generation. So, and then the third big wave came in 1996. That's when me and Dara came as a political asylum. After the Gulf War, the United States had their military bases all over the region. So during that time, there were thousands of people working for the U.S. military, whether as translators or guards, whatever it could be. So in '96, when they evacuated, like Dara said earlier, Saddam Hussein's regime of that time, you know, announced that whoever helped the United States military in any fashion, in any way, would be prosecuted. So luckily, you know, we were fortunate enough. They brought those who work with them. So that was the third biggest wave that came. Although Kurds, you know, they're all over the place. We have Kurds in Dallas, San Diego, Moorhead, Minnesota, New York. They're all over the place. But the majority reside in Nashville. And in addition to that, I believe the weather, you know, is similar to back home.
Really?
Yeah. You get all 4 seasons. You know, it's cold here. You get the, you know, the summer, the mountainous place. So that's kind of where everyone has reside. And believe it, there are more people coming, you know, every year. And although we don't have the exact amount of number of census, but there are well over 20,000 Kurds reside in Nashville.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you characterize the Kurdish people for me?
Absolutely, and I was going to add to what Mr. Sindi said, that we are a really close community. We love to help each other and we love to support each other, and if someone needs help, we are there to help. So this is part of the reason that most of our Kurdish friends came to Nashville, knowing that there are people that here that they could lead them, help them, give them the work they need, or find a place to stay. And that was one of the main reasons that many Kurdish families came here. Also, let's not forget about the real Southern hospitality that we have here in Nashville.
I hope your families experience that.
With no disrespect to anyone else, but people of Tennessee have been great to us, and we really do appreciate that.
Good. And I want to emphasize the people, and then I want you to talk to me about the Kurdish people, but I do want to emphasize that you all have experienced, I guess, the oppression firsthand. I mean, you under the threat of Saddam Hussein, the fact that you could be hurt or killed. Your father was killed as a Kurd, and so you all know the threat of what has just happened over years and time again to the Kurdish people.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, that's the life of a Kurdish person living anywhere in any of those countries. The Kurds have been prosecuted, they have been killed, they have been tortured, they have been in prison. Even to today's date, at the moment that we're speaking, most of the politicians, Kurdish politicians in Turkey are in prison. We have people in Iran being hanged by the regime. Iraqi Kurds are basically driven out of their land, and now with all the news in Northern Syria that we see that Turkey is attacking. So yes, it has been happening. I mean, the history repeated itself so many times. One of the recent one was the Halabja, when more than 5,000 people, men, women, children, were suffocated, and their silent screams was never heard. So, and then you come back to Iraq, you come back to Syria, Turkey. So unfortunately, yes, that is something that it would be hard to find a Kurdish person that has not seen or witnessed any of those atrocities.
Beyond the long suffering, characterize the Kurdish person for me, the Kurdish family.
Kurds, can I just give you some backgrounds, you know, of the Kurds, just in case, you know, for those that haven't heard about Kurds or want to know a little more about Kurds. Kurds are the only nation on earth. Well over 40 million Kurds exist in this world without state of their own, meaning without a country.
Wow.
In 1923, I believe to be exact, after the Lausanne Treaty, Kurds were divided into 4 different countries, to Turkey, Syria, Iran, and Iraq. and we are from northern Iraq. Kurds, I mean, time after time, we've seen different betrayals. We've seen different, administrations at different times. There is not a Kurd on earth that hasn't sacrificed. Me myself, I was 3 years old when my dad was killed by mustard gas chemical in 1988, and once that was in one part, and then in one city alone, city of Halabja, over 5,000 Kurds were buried alive by chemical gas. But other than that, Kurds are very friendly. If you get to know a Kurd, they're willing to open their hearts for you. They have rich culture with their music, with their food. Kurds, and it's a secular community. We have variety of different religious groups. Majority might be Muslims, but we have Yazidis, Christians, Jews, Catholics, and we believe in coexistence. The area Kurdistan is in, we believe in coexistence, and because of our ideology of our coexistence, the neighboring countries sometimes we get into conflict with that. But other than that, Kurds are they're loving people.
I want to take a pause from this conversation and go to the phone lines. Anne is on the line. Anne, what would you like to contribute tonight? Do you have a question or a comment?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to work with Metro School students for 20 years, and I worked at Glencliff for many of those. And I overwhelmingly had a positive interaction as a campus supervisor with the Kurdish students at Glencliff High School, and found that the parents of the Kurdish students were overwhelmingly positive. These were students that were not they came for an education. These were students that were engaging not only in their education, but in the community. Their parents were engaging in their students' education and the community, and it was positive all the way around. I learned from them each and every day that I went to school, and it was a positive learning experience for me as an adult each and every day that I went there. Never had I ever kept an open dialogue with students after they graduated until I had interaction with the Kurdish students at Glencliff, and I can proudly say that 10 years later I am still in touch with students that I met at Glencliff that are Kurdish adults in our community today. And I cannot say that for other high school graduates in the Metro system. So they are contributing people in our community, and it is scary what they have gone through to get to where they are today. And they valued what they had gotten when they got on American soil. And I just wanted to contribute that.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I mean, Anne brings up a really good point that Kurdish people down here, we do not take everything as granted. We definitely value this, as I mentioned before, the land of opportunity. Everyone here, since the bragging time about Kurdish people, they are hard-working people. They're really a friendly neighbor that love to help their neighbors, love to help the community, and we would like to kind of showcase what a Kurdish country could mean, could look like, the way that we respect our women, the way that we interact with other people. And we hope, as I said, it would be showcased, it would be an example, small example of what a Kurdish nation would look like in future, if that happens.
Is that the hope, that one day you would have a Kurdish nation?
That is our, for so many years, we have sacrificed thousands of lives for one specific reason, and that is to, to ask for our God-given rights, to have that freedom, to have our own country. you know, it bothers so much. You know, it has passed from generation to generations. Earlier I mentioned, although we would like to get along with the neighboring countries, but however, if someone asks me where you're from, you know, I want to proudly say I'm from Kurdistan, where everyone recognizes Kurdistan on the map, not just by the flag. So that is our hope and our dream, and we're very optimistic and we're hopeful, and I believe our dream it has been closer than ever, and we are very hopeful we're gonna achieve that goal one day, hopefully in the near future, with the help of our, you know, international community and this country, of course.
We have to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about what started to unfold at the beginning of this month and what's happened since then. So stay where you are. We're going to come back and talk about that.